And welcome to the Crypto Spendthrift Podcast. Today we're gonna mix it up. Straight into Coin Watch? I don't think so. If you want to know Coin Watch, just watch last Monday's episode because it ain't changing. But on the flip side, there's a lot of news, and I mean a lot. But before the straight news, I'm going to talk about the death of Bitcoin Cash, or the death of Bcash. And why do I say the death of Bcash? Well, have you seen the price of Bitcoin Cash is slowly in the gutter? Very slowly, very surely dying. And you can definitely expect that to be the outcome of any kind of Bitcoin forks, in my opinion. I don't think a fork of Bitcoin will last in the long term. And personally, I think just why a fork and not a totally new coin? That article about the current situation will be out Friday, so expect that. Not sure if I'm posting it on either the website, my website, or somewhere else. But we'll see. Depends on how long it is. Depends on where it'll get posted, but yeah. Bitcoin Cash, losing miners, losing volume, losing everything, and expect it to be slow descent into worthlessness as Bitcoin rises even more. And later on we'll talk about another fork of Bitcoin that's a total scam. But onwards for now. Bitcoin hitting 10K by mid 2018. Well, apparently this guy named last name was Novogratz. What's his first name? Michael Novogratz, a former investment group manager, believes that around next year, mid 2018, Bitcoin is going to hit that 10K point. What do you think, worthy listeners? Do you agree? Personally, I'm conflicted. I could see why it would be 10K by mid 2018, but I'm just very unsure how fast, like the reasons it would be 10K are happening. And in my eyes, the reason it'd be 10K is because, as you'll see with the news today, more and more institutional, like big players are adopting blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, more accepting of Bitcoin, and that will definitely speed up and increase the price by so much. And the crypto market in general is so small and undervalued. Well, we're going to see tons of growth. But I don't know the rate of that growth, and when I see predictions like this, it's kind of like sometimes it feels like it's overestimating how fast it will grow. But you never know when it's just gonna blow up overnight because one company decides to officially endorse it. But yeah, what do you guys think? You think it's gonna be 10K by mid 2018? And like I said, personally, I'm conflicted. I want it to be 10K, but I feel like that's a little too much too soon. But as everything with crypto, it operates more on a week-to-week basis than a monthly or quarterly basis, so anything could happen. Next up, Ethereum First. It's an investment product is open for trading on the Stockholm Nasdaq exchange. This is basically Ethereum notes, is what they're trading on this exchange. But I guess you could say it's on a quote real exchange. Really, it's primarily for Europeans, marketed toward them anyway. But apparently, there's a little exploit where if whatever broker you're using can access, like, I think the Stockholm's exchange stuff on there or something, you could actually have Ethereum or Bitcoin notes and reap tax benefits or something, according to the article. In some cases, I'm not really sure how this will really affect anything. I think this is a small step in the right direction for regulation-wise, at least. Obviously, Europe's going to be way more open than America, and way more open than China. But yeah, no, I don't think this is like any real breaking news or very important change. But is this something, if you're European, to look out for? Maybe you could hold Bitcoin and it be like tax beneficial. Like you could count someone off into your count it off your tax for retirement fund or something. So I'd look into that if I was European. Next up, 70,000 Ethereum lost because ICO purchasing gone wrong. Honestly, this article wasn't very clear to me whether it was kind of a transaction gone wrong, where the transaction, I assume this is what really happened, was the transaction either A, didn't fully go through, or B, just was wonky somehow and messed up, which ended up having the fee of the transaction being lost, which in this case it was $70,000 in fees to send the transaction. And honestly, I think the reason this happened was whoever sent this just sent too much at once, which is why it messed up and $70,000 were lost. So if anyone with big money is listening out there, which I 100% highly do not believe, I 100% would send smaller transactions so it would go through faster, and two, really reduce the risk of your transactions breaking, because for whatever reason, either I guess not enough, you didn't set your fees high enough to where it would safely go through, or just some kind of weird just confirmation, or I don't know, it's weird. I don't really understand it, since I don't have the capability or wouldn't send that much money at once. So kind of boggles my mind. Next up, the Byzantium Countdown for Ethereum. If you don't know what that is, you probably should have. It's a small part of this bigger update named Metropolis. It's a pretty conservative update, not radically changing much. Most of the nodes are actually ready, surprisingly. There's still plenty of people who need to update, but not a overwhelming amount not adopting the new update. It will improve transaction speed, and it's also going to help ease in Ethereum for the proof of stake. This one is not the proof of stake, but it's going to happen eventually. And if you don't know what that means, it simply means Ethereum will stop having computers mining Ethereum and eventually go for kind of a network confirming itself by people vesting their Ethereum, which that also grows the supply. It's kind of typically some kind of fixed amount, like fixed proportion of you have this amount. This is the proportion you have when this X amount of vesting days. It's pretty not really super complex, but if you mess around with smaller altcoins, it's pretty common to have proof of stake. So that's still a whiles off. Just know that this next update for Ethereum probably won't affect you that heavily. This is not like the Bitcoin debate going on now. Ethereum's gonna be pretty good and pretty safe during this update. I would just keep an eye though for the coming ones, but I'm pretty sure the timetable for that is still a while. So yeah, just be aware of this, but if you're not like on top of this, don't worry because it really probably won't affect you that heavy. Would it affect Ethereum's price? I don't know. Ethereum's price to me is in a weird place right now because the utility of Ethereum is kind of not really important compared to the utility of Bitcoin. And why do I say that is mainly because still a lot of coins just trade, will depend on Bitcoin to be traded into. So all their lifelines are attached to Bitcoin. Meanwhile, even if Ethereum kind of does suffer whenever Bitcoin goes down, it's kind of operating independently from Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin wins and when it will win and gain, Ethereum's not going to be like attached to it. It's going to be a very significantly slower gain for Ethereum. And I think that's just the kind of the pro and the con of being able to trade directly into fiat money, like US dollars or euros or whatever. Being able to trade your coin straight into those kind of frees you from the mercy of Bitcoin, but it also means your coin doesn't necessarily have to go with Bitcoin, and will definitely, I think most of the time it still go up. It's just way slower than it would have been if it could only be traded to Bitcoin and from Bitcoin. Like I said, overall, don't worry too much about this. Don't think it's going to affect the price that much. Ethereum's probably going to naturally go higher. I don't know if it's going to hit 400 anytime soon, though. I think we'd be lucky to see 350, honestly. For a while, at least. We're just going to have to see more corporate adoption before Ethereum price kind of rebounds to its highs. Next up, talking about the crypto environment, Overstock regulated token exchange will launch with an ICO. And unlike other ICOs, this one's already legal because they confirmed that their token is a utility, not a security, and it was already approved. The token itself was already approved, so they're just expanding their service. This is going to be a great boon for the crypto environment. So I really look forward to this. I don't know if I look forward to this ICO. Despite it being legit, I'm still kind of like skeptical toward it. Like, these type of ICOs aren't really favorable for a smaller amount, a smaller investor. I mean, I guess this is probably one of the least risky ICOs, but I feel like it's not going to have a massive return than you'd be used to for anything other, like more sketchy or more less compliant ICOs. But definitely look out for it. Keep in mind because the ICOs it hosts might be ones that could do insane, and they will definitely be around for a while if they're regulated ICOs that are happening. You don't have to worry about people running away and not suffering consequences. Next up, a German airline, and I'm not gonna be able to say the name correctly, so I'm not gonna even attempt. Just look at it in the Steemit report or Steemit post. Yeah, look at it, that post. So this is the German aircraft. This is a really big one. You probably fly it if you fly in Europe. Once you see the name, you'll recognize it instantly. Partnered with a blockchain startup to help decentralize travel. And this is like a really big partnership too. They're even participating in a pre-sale ICO or something. So they're fully supporting this effort to get the blockchain as the airspace, like consumer airspace industry, I guess. It's really kind of surprising, but it's also really good that such a big player is really adopting blockchain aspects and really going forward and all that. Next up, another aircraft related thing. U.S. defense contractor Moog integrating Aion's blockchain. So for this one, it's I'm actually kind of surprised it was someone who's a defense contractor. Seemed like they'd be slow on the uptake, but apparently not. They are really powering forward and supporting Aion because they see that it's kind of one of those utilities that allows them to be on every kind of blockchain service. I don't know much about Aion itself or what's it really about, but I'm gonna look out for it now after that. But just like the previous one, this is just a good example that say the crypto environment's growing and it's more legit, and expect a lot of players to be entering the sphere within the next few months. As you can see, there's already plenty of people who are already in it or entering it right now, even if they're not like broadcasted mainstream. They will be in a year's time or less, honestly. So if you know anyone who's like on offensive about crypto, this is probably the best time to get in before it absolutely explodes in the coming months. Explodes again. And our final topic for today is Bitcoin Gold. Why Bitcoin Gold? Because it is a scam. I will put my name on this one and say I 100% agree with the post that I have linked to this and say Bitcoin Gold is a scam, and not because I have negative feelings to the current debate about kind of brand hijacking Bitcoin. But this one's not only brand hijacking, but it's straight up pre-mine for one thing, which makes no sense. A fork, but a pre-mine, because it was a failed ICO. And it's just all around scummy and just something that's ironically fueling kind of alts and people selling alts for Bitcoin, which is more than less a really dumb move, by the way. If your alt has sunk down and you're buying Bitcoin instead, like with that money from the alts that you just lost, that's actually just a bad move. Just stick with the alt. it will go back up. It will be worth more when it goes back up to its original price, because Bitcoin's also went up. Just hold. It won't be a problem as long as you're in something good. But besides that, Bitcoin Gold is just magicking this fork out of nowhere while already having a load of it. Two, it's also might not even be able to transfer it. And just this really doesn't have a dev team that's competent, it seems. It's 100% going to be some kind of like marketing smoke and mirrors. And everyone's going to be excited, and it's going to be terrible because I almost anticipate that people are going to lose Bitcoins, I guess. If like this replay protection issue is as big of a problem as this Reddit post says, but it's actually not implemented. But we'll see. I think we still have ample time before, like, a week or two before any forking gets attempts. About 2 weeks, I think. So, just be aware that if you are eager to move your Bitcoin Gold for a quick dump, just be aware that you might not actually be able to do that because incompetence of the people who are in charge and developing it, and exchanges not wanting kind of a terrible implementation that might screw up other things. And that is it for today. Pretty different format from what I usually do. More news, more discussion. AS Talk, give me some feedback on your thoughts. Personally, I think this route's kind of better. At first, I literally kind of just read off headlines, and I think that's dumb. So now I'm going to kind of give more of my input on each headline. CoinWatch is still going to be the same. I'll probably skip it, though, if I have a lot of news like today. That obviously is more important than talking about the same old every day. Especially when it's Thursday instead of Monday. And then previous third segment's probably just going to be eliminated. No Mentality Monday or True Talk Thursday. It's kind of useless. And topics are kind of hard to differentiate after a while. I think what's replacing it is kind of personal thoughts to articles, or kind of my take on something that's happening. Probably gonna be Steemit post, Reddit post, Medium post, something like that. Maybe like a opinion piece or something controversial or something speculative, and it's just kind of like me kind of talking about that speculation and do I agree or can I see what they're seeing or whatever. That's probably gonna be the third format from now on instead of what it was. I also, for this episode, kind of switched up the way I was recording it. This might be better for a while. I need feedback. Just let it know. Let me know. I'll probably do the next 1 or 2 episodes with this and maybe switch it back and see what happens. And if I have some kind of magic growth, though, I won't switch back, because I'm going to attribute it to that. Even if it probably wasn't. That's just not the point. Anyway, see you next Monday on the Crypto Spinter podcast. Like, share, and do more sharing of the podcast. Go to the Steemit post, upvote it. That's cool. Maybe don't support the Patreon yet until I revamp it. That's when I have time, which is probably Friday-ish, late Friday, Saturday. So just look out for the regular podcast on Mondays and Thursdays. See you then.